This is a tweezer, and I banned this from my Michelin-star restaurant from the very beginning. And it's not for the reason that you think. In this video, I would like to go through, first of all, the controversy that I apparently have caused on Instagram and other social media for saying that this is bullshit. Second of all, I want to explain to you the cost that I believe gastronomy pays for the use of these tweezers. And by the end, I want to share with you the way that I approach food in my restaurant, and more importantly, what I believe should be a great vision for culinary future.
Last night, I had a dream of us coming together. Last night, in my dream, I saw unity.
I believe
I had
tools that you use have a lot to say
a
about
taste
what
of
you want to do.
democracy.
Now, you could make the case that I chose the wrong tool for pitting these Mirabelle plums. And you're right. I am not as much against tweezers as I am for hands. I am for the craft. I am for the art of transforming products, produce, meats, vegetables, fish, whatever, into a culinary experience. And I believe that this bugger is in between you and great cooking. This works against it. It doesn't work for it. That's my opinion. The way I've seen this used is primarily for plating and what I call engineering. Now, when you are plating a dish in a way that it demands of you to use a tool of such high precision when you put things together, I believe that you're losing track of my main point, which is that the food and the dishes that we make are not being improved but being manipulated forever. Like, it's not like the more manipulated, the better it is. At some point, we are transforming what was a live product into something that is manipulated to the point of being inedible. The beauty of the culinary arts and of gastronomy in general is the fact that it has more than one purpose. It is not only about the aesthetics, about being thought-provoking, or about a message. It is also, and much more so, about nurture. I opened my restaurant Relæ in 2010, and we received a Michelin-star in 2012. Now, the way the restaurant was conceived was with the intention of creating a place that was casual, but with a clear attempt to achieve some sort of gastronomical level. There was no way for us to achieve that by complicating dishes to the point that they are being complicated in today's day and age. Whether that is a bad thing or a good thing, that's up to you to judge. But at the time, the food at Relæ needed to be executed very swiftly. I had the dream of creating something of a high level within more casual surroundings. And for that to be achievable, some things have to go. We had to compromise on something, and that something was, let's say, time spent on per leaf. The time spent per leaf ratio had to be so low that we didn't have people piling shit on top of each other for hours on end. This doesn't mean that things were very simple to plate. They were seemingly simple, but required a lot of craft. Now, to plate the dishes that were complicated to plate or relay, it required a lot of skilled hands. And the skilled hand can only be trained by using it properly. What I like is that some level of pressure within some constraints will have you improve the way you see things, but also the way you move and the way you think. Now, on Instagram, the discussion has turned into an us versus them deal, which is on one side, people are hating the tweezers and think that I'm a great guy, that I'm voicing what I don't like about it. Now, on the other guy, the argument seems to be that I'm somewhat denouncing fine dining in general. Now, both on that and on my previous video on YouTube, I made points about how I feel that fine dining is becoming more irrelevant. And I think that not because I denounce fine dining in general. I spent a large portion of my life in fine dining restaurants. I have worked for free in fine dining restaurants because I believe in the gastronomic mission, in the idea that food can be more than just nurture. I am 100% a believer. What I don't believe is that a very, 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 very manipulated way to get there is the only true art in gastronomy. What I think the current fine dining is tending to forget is the fact that food is, in the end, a live product. No, the chicken is not alive when you eat it. I get it. But it has a temporal element. It means that it doesn't last forever. You eat it and it comes out the other way. That defines gastronomy as an art compared to everything else. If you're a painter and you paint things, there's a chance, if you're good enough, that it will last forever. People will have access to that forever. Now, that's not how it is with gastronomy, because gastronomy suffers and benefits at the same time from its primary condition, which is that it is a live being that we're putting on the plate. For us to make sense of that and to respect that, we must have some level of urgency, some level of energy when we cook food. This does not give the food energy. This slows it down to the point of making it more about engineering than cooking. That's my opinion. You can hate me if you want. I really don't care. I've had some of my greatest meals in everything from roadside shops, carts in Asia, to some of the greatest gastronomical establishment in the world. I've eaten the fanciest shit you can ever imagine. And I've had amazing meals. And I've had horrible meals in that same context. So it's not the context, it's how we approach the ambition of wanting to make gastronomic food, of having culinary ambition. To me, this means that the priorities are not right. To me, this means that, like everything else, there's a trade-off, and we're making the wrong trade-off. Now, I get it. It's not that everything done with this is bad. Of course not. Whatever. The hair's good. And also other things. I get it. But as with everything else, once you start seeing everything as a hammer, everything becomes nails. I believe when you have too many hands, you start making things more complicated than they benefit from. And this, to me, is a symbol of that culture, of putting stuff on top of each other in intricate ways instead of connecting the mind with the hand with the palate. The combination of the three, I believe, is at the essence of culinary greatness. And the eye, of course, the visual part of it is very important, but it's not everything. Unfortunately, since social media has sort of taken over the understanding of gastronomy, since social media has made it much more visual than it was before, we are prioritizing towards what I find to be superficial things. The superficial looks of a dish are very important, but they're not everything. And everything is a trade off. And if you spend your energy on one thing, you will necessarily not spending on something else. Now, if you have unlimited amounts of staff, you might think that that's a benefit. I think that that's a big problem because when you have unlimited amounts of staff, you lack the constraints to start using your head instead of all sorts of weird tools to prioritize things wrongly. Now, when you are constrained to the point where you just have to make do with whatever you have, what I think happens is that you have to realize why you do what you do and how you can do better or smarter. The little tweezer does not improve cooking. It improves the visuals, maybe. Within a worldview where pumpkin seeds stacked on top of each other is food. I mean, I've been amazed about dishes like this. I've eaten dishes like this, thought, wow, that's amazing. It's incredible. But I just don't see it as the highest echelon of what you can achieve with cooking. I see it as dispensable, as less important. Would you believe for a second that this old book from 2014 is way past a decade old? People still write me about this book. This is one of my proudest moments. I have my name on a book. And my dream is, as of now, writing another book that is not so much about cooking, but a life in cooking. But I still ship this book out to people. I have a few in the basement, and I send them out. Would you believe that 10 years later, a cookbook might somehow still be relevant to some people? I'm amazed, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. This was published in 2014. It's ages ago. And see, this is the kind of cooking that I'm talking. It's on the first page. We use the hands. Now, you can think of the food in this book whatever you want. What I like about the food is that it clearly shows how it was plated. Now, these were potatoes, new potatoes. These were white strawberries and a sauce based on arugula. And also it had spicy with sweet, with the tender potatoes. They were dressed in seaweed. So it's all like marine salty flavors. And what I really like about this is that, the plating of it, we would dust the potatoes. You need to use two hands. You cannot. These are hot. This is kind of lukewarm, and the sauce is not even hot. So everything goes to shit if you're not fast at doing it. Same goes with this. It takes a long time to master the art of cutting fish in a certain way. Putting two pieces of cauliflower on here and on here is not easy. It takes time. But you cannot do it with one little finger. You have to use your hands. Same with this. Now, this was a little more tricky, right? You could make the case that maybe you could use tweezers for this. I wouldn't. I don't like it. There's also another reason. That is, if you look carefully, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of tweezers. That's 8 tweezers. To put things on the plate, you can't use them all at once. I get it. But my point is that you can just go. Plating well is also plating fast. So you put stuff with 2 hands. I always used to say, use both hands. You put something on a tray that needs to go on the plate, and you move with both hands. If you get used to using both hands, you plate double as fast. This was tricky. This also, you had to set it up with the hands. Took no time. That's me. I literally spent days thinking about this. What is a great culinary vision? If the tweezer stuff is superficial, pointless, we say unnecessary, then what is the kind of cooking that we should strive for? We need to find a really good balance between understanding of the product and, to some extent, respecting it or putting yourself underneath it, putting yourself in the service of the product, then potentially adding to that, let's say, ingenious creativity, being capable of maybe having a vision within that product that has not been realized yet. So discovering something new and special about a tomato, some sort of flavor combination that this matched with something else can produce, and only that can produce. Furthermore, adding to that some energy, some life, some fire. And I don't mean fire literally, some intensity that goes into it. I believe that there needs to be room for a little more power in what you do. And I think that the fact of food being alive as it is and fragile, as in it cannot sit forever. You don't have forever. It's not painting. It's not dead objects that you can move around or engineer, put together, or stack on top of each other. It is things that have a lifespan that you need to respect and that you need to engage yourself in. That makes cooking into a question of life or death. It makes it into something that is truly special and not achievable by any other art. Tomato. This is not your ordinary tomato. This is from another galaxy. This, unfortunately, while I have a beautiful greenhouse and I dream of being a great gardener and I dream of walking out into my garden and having it bountiful and filled with all sorts of varieties and stuff, the problem is I'm a really lazy gardener. I get excited in spring, I get stuff going, and then I get lazy. I start thinking about other things. and it just kind of, goes there. But this, now we're going for double trouble because there's butter underneath and olive oil on top. In a world where AI is making us realize what a synthetic world we live in, how everything is fake, how everything around us is potentially fabricated, not true, fake, plastic. Now, more so than ever, what we need from cooking is a connection to the land, the original nurture necessity that cooking has been a part of. But with that added authentic message, personality, and character, there's plenty of space to avoid the current gastronomic slob of stacking pumpkin seeds forever for reasons nobody understands. The alternative is true cooking. But I'm not talking only Nonna can make it, only home cooking is good enough. No, I believe that within a space that has found its true constraints, there's the opportunity for an explosion of creativity in the world of cooking in today's day and age that is as plastic as it has ever been. And we need it. We need you to go to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not in the restaurants. I'm not even going to try today. It's difficult. It's very difficult, I realize. But you can have a dream, and I have mine.